Welcome to everybody, Spreely listeners, Spreely TV. Got our wonderful people over on Twitch, on Twitter, on Instagram, on YouTube. Got Rumble, and of course, Wimkin. We'll be going live here shortly, in just 1 minute. Little old school still point. How we doing, hun?
Good, so far.
All right, let me know Rumble, and first, foremost is Wimkin. See how we're doing there.
Okay.
There we go. Live on Wimkin, going live, closing out. Welcome all our Wimkin followers. Good to have you here. We will start in just a minute. Hang tight. Don't Unfriend Me show is starting. We're up. Tonight we're talking about Jamaal Bowman, talking about the mother who lost her daughter, and tough one because she's getting into the politics of things, and you're opening yourself up to get targeted. I understand. We'll talk a little bit about that. We're going to talk about rhinos like Adam Kinzinger, and then we're going to talk about abortion and Anne Hathaway and some other stuff. We'll see you in just a few minutes, folks. On the other half, 3 minutes. Head on over to Spreely.tv. Make sure you guys join us over there. Watch us on Roku, Fire Stick, and Apple TV. Can't make ugly faces at me.
Sorry.
Nobody can see you. It's fine.
You're tired of being so confused. You feel like you're more fucked up than the lie.
From this day forward, all fire alarms in the kingdom will be called Bowmans. Johns. It's my royal right, prima nocta, to kiss the bride. No? Nobody?
I know.
Thank you. Men in tights. That was a pretty good Patrick Stewart. I'm just saying. Yenny's back.
Yes, she is.
Is she really?
The DUM Club. Exclusive benefits, member discounts. Yes, we got our cat back at the DUM Club. You can get your cat too. The pussy you've been looking for is at the DUM Club. Quarterly gift boxes, news without ads. You get to talk to our members. We're watching Primary Colors on Saturday. Come on by. You guys can join. We even have like a $10 a month club, folks. You get to watch Primary Colors with a bunch of Republicans. How cool is that? We get to watch Bill Clinton and Hillary. The DUM Show at the DUM Club. TheDUMClub.com or DUMShow.com. Stop on by. Step into a Wimkin.
What's up, everybody? It's Ryan Weaver. I am on the Don't Unfriend Me show, otherwise known as The DUM Show, with host Matt Spear. You guys can find the show at The DUM Show on social media or the
Ryan, that's very insensitive. And Olivia and Amy, too. It's not just Matt Spear. Come on, dude.
DUMShow.com.
Adjusting transmitter output.
This is the Don't Unfriend Me show with your hosts, Matt, Leroy, Amy, Olivia, and Mike. Geopolitics, military analysis, and election coverage. Coming to you live on the Spreely.tv network and all major social media channels at The DUM Show. Honest, direct, unfiltered. We can agree, we can disagree. Just don't unfriend me.
Making everybody the same height.
Yeah, I look really
Now-
short.
Oh, shit.
Oh, whoops.
Compton.
But your cat is back. I'm so excited.
Oh, we have a problem. Hold on a second. We can be excited in a second.
Adjusting transmitter output.
This is the Don't Unfriend Me show.
Much better. Do you guys see that thing that says guest 2? Can you see that? Over Amy's head?
No.
No, it doesn't say it there. Guest 2? Okay. Whew. Let me just switch. Make sure it goes away. Of course, it's not going to go away. There it is. And it went away. Yeah, it's back. You know, we're just going to get off the welcome screen. There. Solve the problem. But now I need to zoom her in. Hold on. Okay. Yes, we got the cat back. Tell them the story, Liv.
So Hayden and I were shopping last night, get a phone call, and apparently she was only about 250 yards away from the house. I have no idea how she did not get home. We're going over ideas, not sure. I think there's like an 8-foot long bull snake that lives in the rocks between our house and our neighbor's house.
Rat snake.
Rat snake.
No, it's not a bull snake.
Rat snake.
There's a very big difference between
yeah.
a bull-nosed python or a
Rat
bull-nosed
snake, thank you.
spitter,
So-
rattlesnake, whatever.
Possibly maybe that scared her. But apparently somebody was walking on the walking path and heard her meowing and crying in the woods, and they went and got her.
She's
and,
here now. She's heard her name.
Yeah, yep, she did. And then, come here, sweetie. And then she posted it was like, here she is.
Oh, yay. Oh,
And
she looks
she's
fine.
She
lost a
a
pound,
full pound,
which isn't good.
And
She's
she's-
only 7.5 pounds.
So she was only she's only 6.5 pounds now. So so basically the lady who found her posted a picture of her on Facebook, and immediately people are like, I saw that cat on a lost poster sign. I saw this on
I've
Facebook.
seen that
blah,
on
blah,
Facebook.
blah, blah, blah.
We know these people. Everyone's like, we've seen this cat because, it's a small town. You know that.
We posted her everywhere. And there was one place called Bring Ace Home, and they posted her on for me. And somebody said, okay, yep, I've seen her, and reposted our sign with our phone number on it. And so the lady called me, and they had taken her to the vet and to see if she was okay. And we went and picked her up there last night.
I thought she was dead. Like Hayden and I were sitting here going, we need to have a little service because we thought she was dead. There's no reason for her to be alive. She is perfect height for all the peregrine falcons that we have. We have hundreds of them, and owls at night, peregrine falcons during the day, coyotes.
The hawks.
We got bobcat. Right.
Yeah.
We have fox.
Yeah, fox,
Yeah.
bobcat.
Everything.
Black
Black bears occasionally.
Black bears. There's possum that but wouldn't certainly probably go after a cat, but they can get in a tussle. And then there's toms all over the place. I mean, this is farmland, and it's so we didn't think she would be she'd be alive.
So we're pretty happy she's home, and she definitely has been very clingy.
Oh yeah, she's like she's got PTS, man. So she'll be like walking down the hallway and just start crying like
Because no one's around her, and she starts crying for us. It's like she's almost lost again.
yes,
But-
Jennifer spayed, and we're getting her chipped tonight or
I'm
tomorrow.
waiting on a phone call back from the vet's office that she was out last night to see what exactly they checked her for. And then after that, I'm going to take her to our vet to get her chipped, and whatever that vet didn't do. So probably get her checked for feline leukemia and flea and ticks, because she's definitely
Herpes,
gonna need
because
it.
she probably got passed around a little bit.
Yeah.
She's out partying. All right, well, we got to get to the show. So
yeah.
cat's alive, cat's good, cat's happy, everyone's happy. that
Yes.
we're happy too. Listen, I'm not.
You're an air tag.
Yeah, I'm not sitting here pretending that I don't. I'm happy, but we got nobody wants to hear 25, 30, 40 minutes about a cat. Some people do, but she is home and she is safe. Welcome to the Don't Unfriend Me show, everybody. This is myself, Matt, and Olivia, and Amy, and we are the hosts minus Leroy. But
Yeah, where's that loser?
I have his shirt on tonight. It is that loser. That's a good point. Where the hell is he? So we've got a bunch of good news. I talked to Damani Fielder and I have been going back and forth. He really is a nice guy, and a lot of people, probably look at Damani and go, well, he seems so curt. Well, you have to be. People think the same thing about me, but once you get someone behind the scenes, it's a different story. I want to give out some prayers to BK Boone. He is a longtime listener, big fan of the show. He is, I had a chance to talk to him today. He is in hospice care. He had some brain bleeding about 2 years ago, and the diagnosis was terminal. And he has just amongst all odds fought this thing, and it just been a testament to his strength and resolve. But as I talked to him today, he's just like, I'm losing the fight, and we need a miracle. So you know what? Miracles happen, and they're possible. We all need to put our hands together if you can, or whatever you do, say a prayer, or just recognize the universe and the chi, or sacrifice a chicken to Cthulhu. Whatever you do, I don't care. Just let's do that. We've already lost two. Yeah, we've lost 2 members on this show, including Amy's husband. That would be 3, and that's who we know of. And I'll tell you what, it sucks, and we don't like it. And I also want you guys to do me a favor, and this is to Olivia, and this is to Amy, and Leroy, and the listeners. If anything ever happens to me, don't let this show go away. Like, you have to keep it going. And I understand that's going to be hard, and I understand it's going to be different, and it's going to be weird, but you guys have to keep it going. So you're going to have to learn. And I think that's ultimately what I need to do, is show Liv how to do these type of things, because I believe there's something special going on here. And I'm not saying something's going to happen to me, but the problem is that I have not trained the way I usually do, which is, the sergeant teaches the corporal, the corporal teaches the private first class, the private first class teaches the private. Everybody knows their job. And, life is too damn short. You never know what's going to happen, and you can't plan for it. So we just need to keep this thing going. But anyway, Damani Felder, he will be here. He's going to, we were talking about what day works best, and it's going to be like a Wednesday or a Friday. We're not sure which, but he's excited to come on. And then we've got Pastor Dale coming on
Monday,
who is a friend of Amy
Amy
Bordeaux.
B. Yep.
Amy Bordeaux. And then I've got the writer that I talked about is going to be coming on. And then
Also somebody else that I just got info on that I have to reach out to.
who? Just tell him.
I don't. Marine sent the info to me.
Okay.
So.
Oh yeah.
So,
Yeah. Okay. So he's going to come on. And then we've got the Burn Pit, which is part of Spreely TV, and they're great. Ex-military, they lift. Constitutionalists, they kind of challenge the whole narrative around Israel a little bit, and so they're going to bring a different perspective here. They're not huge fans of the Israeli government, and but they are really smart guys, and I think they'll do really well on this show. So we've got a lot coming up, and then obviously on July 13th and the 14th, right around that time, we're going to be having dinner in Washington D.C. with a pretty prominent figure, and we're going to try to get that person on the show too. And this is like a top 10 conservative personality that you guys would know. It's a very, very prominent person. So really excited about what's coming up in the future. Last thing is I'm scratching the itch to start writing a book. And I think I've got the premise. I think I've got what I want to talk about. And I'm going to start knocking that out. So that should be done in about 7 years. And by the way, Amy, it's the Berm Pit, BERM. It does the burn pit as a play on words, but it's burn pit. Let's get to it. We got a lot to do. What's
if
up?
somebody has anybody that they would like to refer, PM me. Somebody said reach out to somebody just a couple of minutes ago. So yeah, PM me their info and why they would want to be on the show and who they are and blah blah blah.
Yeah, we don't really do the reach out thing anymore. I'm just done with that. If people want to come on the show, they can. But now we're starting to grow and people are like recognizing us. And of course, we always have Izzo and you know, it's great. Great to have all those people. Anyway, Ames, you good?
I'm great.
Are you sure?
It's been a day.
Yeah, you don't seem great.
I'm just I
can
can't
read
wait
you like a book. It's the easiest thing in the world.
I'm like really looking forward to like a week from now. It's just stress. My real job is also, it's just a lot of stress right now.
Oh yeah, it's like summer sale, spring sale, what is it, whatever it's called.
No, I just have, it's just certain things.
It's just crazy. Okay. Well, I won't say anything else. It's busy. Yeah. All right. Well, it's busy. We appreciate it. Hopefully Twitter shows up. We had a couple hundred people on Twitter last week and or last Monday, and right now it's a little lower. So we'll see once we get talking what happens. All right, that's a good enough intro. Glad we did it. A lot of people go, oh gosh, why don't you go right into the show? But because we're friends.
We love each other.
We like to kind of catch up and give everybody the news. All right, let's get to it. We're going to start off hot and heavy here. I was thinking of holding this till the end, but no. We have debate tomorrow, 7 p.m. Make sure everybody's there.
9 p.m. Eastern.
7 p.m. is when we're starting. I'm aware when the show is, Sweet Pea. I promise you. I'm pretty aware. 7 o'clock Eastern is when we're starting, and we'll have a 2-hour pre-show, and then we're going to get into it. And I think the pre-show is important. This is Harris County. This is where Olivia and I were from in Houston, Harris County area. We were in Tomball, and this is the judge, Lena Hidalgo, and obviously a fucking liberal, pardon my French, and Hispanic, and honestly looked like she just, Betty Sue got nailed in the back of a malt shop. When you see her, you'll understand what I'm talking about. She's got huge knockus. And I'm not talking about pride. I'm talking about knockus. She's Amy's Mexican half. She basically looks like Amy from the neck to the belly button. And here's the thing. I want to be, this is about Jocelyn Nungraze, and she's 12 years old, and she was raped and killed by 2 illegal aliens. And I am, first of all, so freaking terribly sorry. And I started bawling this morning when I heard the story and they had her on. Now, there's people like, well, why was she out? Why did she sneak? Okay, you know what? Now's not the time. This mother, you're telling me this mother's like, okay, I'm going to let my kids sneak out so they get raped and murdered. You're an idiot. Okay? Right. You're an idiot. Some parents haven't established that relation. My daughter would come and go, Dad, I want to sneak out, but I won't. But I want to tell you there's something I want to go to, and I want to use one of my aces in the hole to go. And what that means is even if I say no, she gets to go because it's important to her. Now, unless there's drugs or whatever. So we have a shorthand where she can come to me, but I don't care about that. This family does not deserve to have anyone talk about this. I hope if the family somehow sees this, they turn it off. You don't need to be listening to me. You don't need to be listening to the mass media or politicians or President Biden, who won't say anyone's name or won't call or won't, just how about showing up in Houston and leaving these stupid ass fundraisers or stopping your debate speech and actually going and visiting Houston, Texas and visiting these families or something, because you can't look them in the eye. But when the judge gets involved, she's fair game. She is a city official, and she opened up her trap. So I'm going to talk about her. And I have no desire to talk about the kid because that ain't cool. Here we go. Here's the video. You guys know what I'm talking. I swear to God, right when you see her, Betty Sue got nailed in a malt shop. She totally looks like that. That's what she reminds me of. But anyway, I'm wondering if she's wearing a poodle skirt. That right there is a really good look for her because I guarantee that's how she got her job. Right there, she's showing you. Here's the video.
It hurts even more that they're being used as pawns in this fight over immigration that doesn't even exist because Biden and McConnell agree. It's just that Trump won't let them move it forward.
All due respect, Judge, you said this issue shouldn't be politicized, but by pointing the
That's
finger at former President Trump and Republicans in Congress, aren't you politicizing it?
I think I answered the question. So, yeah, I mean, this is about Jocelyn. This is about her family, and if we want to,
Judge,
as I said, talk about immigration.
You didn't answer the question. Are you politicizing this by pointing the finger at Republicans and saying it's their fault, not the fault of the Biden administration that lifted the Remain in Mexico policies?
Again, the Biden administration reached an agreement with Leader McConnell to address this, but this is not about immigration. I'm not going to feed into that.
Is she hot?
Did she say at the very beginning it's not fair to them, as in talking to the two men? Is that what she
she's
said?
talking about the family.
Okay.
But it doesn't matter. The point is that the reporter did his job, and of course, because it's Texas, and said, you're politicizing it. You just said not to politicize this, and then you bring up Trump and blame it on Republicans, and then watch her. Like, I don't know. Like, I totally don't understand. What are you even saying to me, man? Like, are you even on this planet? Like, duh, you're a freaking weirdo with a beardo. What the fuck is wrong with this chick? How the fuck did she get this job? Ladies, this is part of your people. So
our people.
She's a woman. So you
don't
guys
take her as ours.
Fix this shit.
Can we have a gender draft and trade her to your side?
Yeah, we'll let her trans.
we have enough. We have enough Latinos. Penalty on the play. Too many Latinos on the field. 10 yards. Ladies, seriously, I want to hear your opinions on this, please.
I don't know how this woman got her job as a judge. I'd like to see her bar exam, please. I don't believe she even passed law school. Like, this is...
It's called Two Knees and a Swallow University.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
I'm sure Kamala Harris was president of her class.
Yeah, but it's not... I mean, I don't think we're too far off of that.
No, and also... To go back to, I don't want to talk about this poor child. I saw this a couple of days ago. I was absolutely appalled by this. I don't care what this child was doing. She's a child. She's 12 years old. We shouldn't have to be, as women, afraid to do something. But we often have to watch our backs. We can't walk alone on a street. We can't go out alone at night. We have to have a weapon with us. We have to always plan ahead, look over our shoulder. We don't feel safe. And this is exactly why. And it's only getting worse because we are letting criminals into our country without any background check, without any kind of vetting. They're just, come on in, commit all the crimes you want. You get to stay for free, and we'll just let you go. We'll just let you go back on the streets after you kill people. It's just
how can this judge say what she said and not be held accountable? Because she ultimately is using her position, which is a paid government position. We're going to talk about the Hatch Act, which specifically talks about running politics from the national podium, the White House, or it also applies to city and government officials. But I mean, it kind of makes you sick. Liv, if you're the mother, whether you're a Republican or not, or a Democrat, what's your reaction to this? Because I've heard the mother, and she doesn't strike me as a person who, and I'm not trying to be rude, but isn't kind of working in the game with all the balls and bats that she could possibly possess, if that makes sense.
She seemed really young. She looked very young too. So,
right.
I wouldn't. and I think she's a single mom too. So, which it's just sad. I think as far as this judge is concerned, the reason she thinks she can get away with it is because she's liberal and it's a double standard. And anytime you're a left, the rules don't apply to you. You can say whatever you want, which is just dumb. But no, I would be pissed if I was that mom. I would be like, you don't get to speak on my behalf. I don't want you to speak on my behalf. I don't need your help. And I definitely do not want you politicizing my daughter's death. And I would be pissed if I was that mom.
Amy, we're in Virginia. I mean, what are your thoughts on that we are in a situation that we're experiencing it? There's no such thing as a border state anymore. It's absolutely everywhere. And it doesn't matter where you're at, you're affected by illegal immigration. And the interesting thing is you've got the left. They're like, no, there's no problems. You're not a border state. Every state's a border state. I mean, and that's where we're at.
Considering that we still have refugees that have been living in the same place since, I don't even know, what is it? We're going on like at least 4 years now, that they have not given, and many of them have just left. They don't care. They did care for a little bit here. But now they've just given up. They just kind of let them come and go as they please. They get fed every day. They get cell phones. They get free health care. We don't know what's going on when these people do choose to leave. I mean, the crime rate's going up everywhere. I feel like even though it's hard, we live in a bubble. I've said that 100 times. We live in probably the safest county we're in the top 5 of the United States for the safest counties as far as that goes. However, we have seen a rise in crime. It's a lot more petty theft. It's a lot of carburetors being stolen and cars.
Yeah, copper and copper and shit like that is being taken.
Yes. New construction homes being like complete systems being stolen out of them. It's we're seeing a lot more of those type of crimes here where we are, but I'm not blind to what's going on. And yes, there are no such thing as border states. They are busing people in from everywhere. They get to choose where they go. I mean, we live by several airports, probably 3 of the major airports on the East Coast are around us, and where they're coming in from everywhere. And it's terrifying.
Afghanistan, you remember during Afghanistan, and we saw how many people
are still here.
Would you? And how many people came in overall in that situation? Was it something like 15,000?
I don't know the numbers. I remember I have a friend who's a flight attendant, and she was showing me footage, which I could not show on here because it would get her fired, and probably a lot of airlines in trouble because of how they were handling the situation. She showed me a lot of video from the airports and those people being here. And those are the people I'm talking about. They are still here. They are still being held basically in an open air prison of sorts, like what's the place? It's in Leesburg. Can't think of the name of it, but they're still there. They're still there in this event center. They're still housing them there all these years later.
Yeah. Liv, in your situation, going to the grocery store or working where you work, do you see this out there? Do you see in any way, shape, or form? You've lived in Houston, you've lived in Texas, you've lived in California, you lived in New Mexico, Arizona. You know the difference between illegal immigration and legal immigration. Do you see it here in Virginia, or is it not impacted our town yet?
I don't think it's impacted our town. I don't really see it on a personal level. I mean, I don't go that far. I go to grocery store.
Yeah, but this is kind of an expensive area too. Yeah, Percival and everything.
It really is. So I mean, I don't really see it affecting me. We have no panhandlers. I don't see any homeless, even when I go to Leesburg. So it hasn't really impacted me and our family on a personal level. So, I mean, comparing this to New Mexico, where we were the minority in the city, it was awful.
120% we were
awful.
We were the minority,
and we were treated like the minority.
Oh yeah, it was not good.
It was horrible. So yeah, no, I mean, I don't see it on a personal level. I'm sure if when I used to go into Maryland and DC for work, and other parts of Virginia, yes, I did see the impact there, but I wasn't there for very long. It was do my job and come home, so I didn't really have to deal with it. So.
I think we may not see it from in this, like at a town level, but you're going to see this from a resources standpoint. The police force, you're going to see it in housing prices. You're going to see this in urban development. You're going to see more, chain establishments come up and more commercial real estate be pushed forward in order to accommodate. You're going to see apartment buildings. And when you have immigration and HUD housing and things to that effect, you see a huge increase in crime and overall property values go down. I've seen this all over the place in real estate. Amy, your thoughts on this?
Well, you're exactly right. Again, in the bubble here of the county that we live in, it's a lot different for HUD housing. There's a lot more gray area in this particular county as far as the laws go. However, our two neighboring counties, one is in Maryland and one is just east of us, have a lot more liberal laws, and the HUD housing, the Affordable Housing Acts, plus the amount of money they are putting into building affordable housing is insane right now. I think there was I don't know if it was $1 million. I'm not sure the exact amount was just granted to one of our neighboring towns where the crime is already extremely high. The drugs are extremely high. And we are seeing that trickle into our schools here, especially the high schools, the two high schools that feed into our particular kids' schools. The drugs have been pretty rampant from what I'm told. I don't have kids in those schools, but I'm just going off of what's told for me from other parents. And the police officers that I know that are saying, it's being traced back to these neighboring towns where we do see the low-income housing, where they are busing people in, where they're not vetting these people. I'm not saying don't help people who need the help. Like the housing vouchers are great for people who are working, who are trying to better their lives, and who get off the housing vouchers after, 3 years or whatever the term is before they renew. But a lot of these people are not. They're just using that to skate by, and people just can't afford it where we live. I mean, no one can, there's no housing vouchers for our area, but
no, there's not. No, there's very little help in this area, especially during COVID. I mean, they're like, you have a $750,000 house. Good luck, sell it.
Right. Amy said, we definitely live in a bubble, because I have helped my company at other locations in Virginia, a couple of them. And I can tell you that the clients that are there at those offices, it's a whole different clientele. It's a lot of Indian, Middle Eastern. It's mainly Middle Eastern and Indian. A lot of Asian people.
Like, hello, welcome to 7-Eleven.
Yes.
Would you like a Slurpee?
That's
Or kill Paleface?
That's not feather.
Oh, okay.
And but it's predominantly Indian, Asian, and to be honest, there honestly isn't that many in the places I've been. Any black people? I mean, there's a few. There's more than the white people that come in, but
you're black.
But I mean, and that's not too far away. I've gone to one that was like 30 minutes away, and the one that was like 45 minutes away. So it's definitely, you get closer to DC, and it's definitely different.
But let's face it, with the work that you do, the amount of money that costs, I don't see a lot of urban families taking advantage of your tutelage. And that's a nice way of saying that they don't have the money. And I'm sorry, we don't have the money. We couldn't send our children where you work. I mean that's ridiculous. It's ridiculously expensive, and maybe with you it would be cheaper, but I don't know. Do we get a discount?
Yes, we would.
Okay. Well, we're not going to talk about it anymore. Amy, your thoughts on this?
I mean, I work in real estate. I work with people of all demographics. So I will say, and it's different, right? Like I do see almost, and it's strange because there are certain neighborhoods in other areas where there's a huge Indian population, but you can see they still have like their classes.
Can you please be specific, please? Because I do not understand what we're talking about. Is it Indian as in
Yeah.
Swirly on top of head, or is it feather?
No, not the feathers.
So you're talking about Indian as in
Like
as in.
Pakistani.
Yes. Okay. Got it.
Yeah,
I got it.
yeah.
Punjab.
Yes, yes. We have a lot of. I'm just trying to think like culturally. I don't want to like offend anybody either, but
No,
because I
offend
love.
people. That
Right, I
pisses
know.
me off.
Yeah.
Offend
Well,
them.
I don't want to
I haven't
offend if I.
offended Indians.
No,
I haven't
not at
offended
all.
them. So
I
it's about time.
Yeah.
We were driving in the car today talking to the kids, and I started, "Oh, welcome to 7-Eleven. Have a nice day." And they were laughing, and I'm like, "Have you guys ever heard an Indian person try to get F around and find out?" They're like, "Listen here, you son of a bitch, motherfucking plastic son of a macaroni noodle. I will absolutely." It's pretty funny. Anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry. Spun out
No,
there.
but it's funny because even in their own neighborhoods where like, and I'm not saying it's like their neighborhood, it's obviously there's still other people who live there, but by and large, their majority is, Indian descent people. But they
Right.
still have like a class system within their neighborhoods because our
Oh
neighborhoods are
yeah.
built so strange. Like you'll
Oh
have
yeah.
literal multi-million-dollar homes in the same neighborhood as like
Yeah.
townhouses and condos, and you can tell it's still like a class system, and like the rich people don't like
Totally.
the poor people, and the poor people are still paying over $500,000 for a condo here. It's just very odd, and it's kind of funny in that way. So even our
Yeah.
I just saw that. Oh my gosh.
Ramon says Hindu dating site. Connect the dots. That's so.
Oh my gosh. That's
That's horrible.
See, I'll tell you what. Classism is alive and well in the Indian culture. I mean, it out of specific. I mean, it's bad. I mean, this is why Vivek Ramaswamy hates Nikki Haley so much. Is that they are opposing classes of elitist versus non-elitist, which is funny. Yeah. So there's also a rumor that Vivek is Trump's number one, and I'll tell you, nobody knows. Can we stop talking about? Nobody knows. Trump is going to milk this as long as he can. So I've heard several different things. It's interesting. He came out today and said that he will not have a national ban on abortion and committed to that. That's good. He should have done that. I've been saying he should have done that 6 months ago. He did it now. It's a little late, but I think he's priming Nikki Haley to be on his administration, and I think he knows that that's going to be the best place for her to be is talking about abortion, because I listen, everyone's like, there's no way it's going to be Nikki Haley. I never said it should be or it would be. I said it should be. There's a difference. But her stance on abortion is as popular with Democrats as it is Republicans. So he's going to have to utilize her to get up on stage and talk. And I almost think that he will make some sort of announcement before the debate, because it would help him in the debate. Is, my new vice president and I will do this, and this is what they're going to do, and then also my Secretary of State Nikki Haley is going to be focused on whatever. So I think there's some play there for him to do this before the debate, but we're 24 hours away, and I don't foresee him doing that. So what we can expect is probably by this weekend. I don't think he's going to allow it to happen at the RNC. I think it's a horrible mistake. You have an opportunity to be booed, and you don't want that at the RNC. Right. So anyway, little divergent from what we were talking about. Anything else on this judge is an idiot. And if I was this judge, I would put every TV camera in here. She won't allow, she's not going to allow it. She's going to let these two illegal aliens, these criminals, these murderers, these pedophiles, these rapists, I would put them up and send a warning. And you know what? I hate to say it, death penalty. Like,
yep, 100%.
100% death penalty. And I would actually, I would play it on national prime time and send a message to these fuckers that if you come into our country, we're going to put you to death. We have got to stop this shit. We have got to, these people need to stop coming into our country. I'm sick of it. And it's just going to get worse. It's just going to get worse.
Yeah, just real last quick thing on that. I absolutely agree with you. And like we've all said, we don't see it on a day-to-day basis because of where we live, but I don't want to see it on a day-to-day basis. I don't want to have that come into our neighborhoods. I don't want to have to worry about my kids playing outside in my front yard. I don't want to have to worry about these things. So I already worry enough. Trust me, I'm super paranoid. So I don't want this to happen. It needs to stop. We need to stop this border nonsense now. And yes, I agree. Make an example of these people, because this is not the first time that illegal immigrants have committed horrific crimes. So
well, wait till you hear the next thing I'm going to show you. Actually, I'm not even going to show you. We were watching Fox at dinner, and there was a segment that came on. Liv, if you can give me a few seconds and kind of walk them through what they were talking about in regards to the press and what the answer was about this whole thing and what they were saying. Can you do that? Do you remember that far back, that 25 minutes?
It's been longer than 25.
You don't remember, do you?
I remember it was Mayorkas was on.
Yeah, but all the Democrats, what were they saying? Do you remember?
No.
Oh, honey. I even said we're going to talk about this on the show. Now I've got to go ahead and try to find this in a matter of seconds, so I can fill in your inability to remind me. But luckily, I found it real fast. So here it is. See, sometimes you're just you're Joseph Stalin, folks, and that's what I was doing. Was Stalin. Here it is.
Listening to the families whose loved ones have fallen victim to countless illegal immigrant criminals, and those rapists and murderers aren't only the bad hombres that are coming in. CBS is reporting that 8 guys from Tajikistan were.
Wow, if only somebody told you that was happening. Oh gosh, I wonder where you guys may have heard that from. You guys have heard me talk about Tajikistan probably more than just about any other country outside of Israel, Ukraine, Russia, North Korea. Tajikistan was where most of the Afghan regulars fled once they started having conflict with Taliban year before Biden turned it over. But Tajikistan is where there are a lot of terrorists, and they're going to talk about ISIS bringing in 400 or 500 people, ISIS groups, into our country. Folks, game on. You better be locked and loaded.
Busted over fears they were plotting a terror attack. And DHS flagging more than 400 migrants brought here by a smuggling network linked to ISIS. Dozens of them are still unaccounted for, but Mayorkas wants you to believe the vetting is aces.
The safety and security of the American public is indeed our highest priority. We screen and vet individuals when we encounter them. The safety and security of the American people are our highest priority. We screen and vet individuals at the time of encounter.
The key word.
When? How?
Exactly.
Right. Well, that's the thing is it's time of encounter. So what happens when you don't encounter them? What happens when they get across the border and you have no idea they're here? There's a little bit more to go here. I want to watch the rest of this for you so you guys can see this.
We screen and vet individuals at the border when we encounter them. The different agencies and departments across the federal enterprise are working more cooperatively and more effectively and doing more robust screening and vetting than ever before.
Which is scary. Mayorkas isn't the only Democrat acting callous over the border crisis. Democrats don't seem to know about the 12-year-old girl murdered by 2 migrants in Houston.
Can I ask you quickly about the 12-year-old girl in Houston that was tortured?
The strangers. I don't even know who you are, and I don't know who she is. I live in Pittsburgh. These are horrible incidents, and I think anyone.
What the strangers? Wow. What is this?
You are strangers.
Is this the local pick and save? She has a press pass, for God's sake. I don't even know who you are, lady. No one knows who you fucking are. How do people like this get elected? Give me a break.
Who conducts?
Jayapal, what a waste of a life. That lady looks like she fell and hit her head square and her face squished when she was like 2 years old. It's like she looks like an Oompa Loompa. She looks like the freaking Willy Wonka Oompa Loompa.
Oh my gosh, she does.
You know really what? Does. Let's pull up a picture and let's go ahead and
make that
Willy
meme tomorrow.
Wonka Oompa Loompa.
She looks like the Oompa Loompa one from the
new one, not the
new
old
one. Yeah.
No, not
the Johnny Depp one.
Yeah. I want to see if I can, and like the Indian.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, here it is. Here he is. Oh, come on. Don't you hate that? It's like Google Images really like, okay, so I got to go ahead and drag and drop. Oh, you sons of bitches. Open image in new tab. There we go. Okay, so there's that person, which that movie sucked. And then here's Jayapal.
Oh, it looks just like her.
That kind of terrible act has to be prosecuted.
Oompa, loompa, doopa dee dee.
Hey, you have a request to turn up the video volume, please.
What are you talking about?
Somebody asked if we could turn up the volume
Nope.
on the videos.
Can't do it.
Documented immigrant.
It's already up all the way. I mean, how much louder do you want to make this? Who asked?
No.
Shirley, nobody else is having a problem. Turn up your phone. I don't know what to tell you. We're full joy. If we turn it up, our ears are going to bleed.
Immigrants commit far fewer crimes than anyone else.
That is an awful instance. Migrants oftentimes, according to the data, according to police departments, are often less likely to actually commit crime than natural-born citizens.
Sometimes people slip through the cracks, and that's why we take a step back, look at the process.
It's unfortunate anybody's killed. Obviously, immigrants, legal or illegal, commit crimes at a rate far lower than native-born Americans.
They're always, Dana, they always seem to pivot.
Dude, seriously, I mean, what the hell is... No, go ahead. Well, I'll see those statistics too. But here's the thing, is when you go ahead and take crime, right? And you go ahead and take overall crime, and then you take the amount of illegal immigrants who come into this country, they're a very small demographic, surprisingly enough, when you're comparing it against 332 million people. That's like saying, lesbian... Polynesian one-legged Catholic priests have a lower demographic of homicide and theft and crime than, of course, it's a small demographic, but that's not the point. The point is that they're not supposed to be here anyway. So it is 100% preventable crime, even if it's 1 out of 100, 1 out of 1,000, 1 out of 10 million. I don't give a shit. They're here illegally. So when they're like, well, illegal immigrants commit less crime per capita. They're illegal, you asshole. They're already committing crime. What the hell are you talking about? How does that make any sense? You just said illegal immigrants. This is why Democrats are so freaking stupid. I can't stand it. Go ahead, Amy.
It's honestly, it just pisses me off because it just further shows how disconnected from the American public that they truly are, because the rest of the population can at least somehow relate to this mom. Even if you don't have a child, you can feel bad for this mom. And I think any parent can go, this is atrocious. This should never freaking happen. Our children deserve to be safe. They should not be followed out of a convenience store and then raped and murdered. It is absolutely horrifying. So it just shows again that these politicians cannot, under any circumstances, go, you know what, this is absolutely horrifying and we need to fix this problem. This is not acceptable. These are our children. This is our future of America. Who's going to vote for you?
It's Republicans' fault, Amy, because they didn't do shit for 3.5 years, and we didn't want to go ahead and have the American Border Act go ahead and supply 16 other countries with securing their border and only spending 16% on our country securing ours. I'm sorry. How dare we? How dare we? The balls on us. Olivia, you want to add anything else to these idiots now that you remember it, even though you didn't remember it and I had to remind you?
No, I agree with Amy. It's appalling, and they are so far removed from their constituents and who they represent that they are only representing themselves. They could care less who voted for them.
You sound xenophobic. Why do you turn against your own people? Why are you a race traitor?
I'm not turning against my own people because I'm not a freaking congressperson.
Why do you hate Mexicans? Seriously. Why? Yenny even says, why do you hate Mexicans?
Oh, really? Tell us.
Oh,
she's very happy. Thank you for showing us your ass.
Oh, she feels
at least once every show.
Exactly.
This cat, she's a whore. She has no. She's got
Where's
nothing.
her T-shirt?
We need to make her a T-shirt.
Well, you know what? I'm going to make a Yenny T-shirt. Anne Hathaway, damn, she's hot. I wish she would just shut up and pose nude more. But nope, she had to say something. This is about abortion, folks. Listen to this
My
now.
own personal
See
experience.
if you guys can use and see her pantomimes. A beautiful lady, there's no doubt. Anne Hathaway she's a knockout, and she can sing. She's talented. She's also batshit crazy, like most
of them are.
Like most of these people. Here, listen to this shit. See if you can spot. First of all, watch her eyes. And see if you can follow what she's doing, going to the creative portion of her brain versus the memory portion. She's also, her eye contact is horrendous. She's lying through most of this, but listen to this, and then I want to get reaction from the people who do have uteruses on the show. No, Yenny, not you.
She doesn't have one.
That's my point.
My own personal experience with abortion, and I don't think we talk about this enough, abortion can be another word for mercy. Some 16-year-old's life has been irrevocably changed because of the current overturning of Roe v. Wade. And what implications are, what it means to live in a country that puts us in this position. And when you are a young woman starting out your career, your reproductive destiny matters a great deal. Nowadays, I couldn't take that for granted. I couldn't take that freedom for granted, the freedom of choice. We know that no two pregnancies are alike, and it follows that no two lives are alike. That follows that no two conceptions are alike. So how can we have a law? How can we have a point of view on this that says we must treat everything the same?
Live, check, rumble.
When you allow for choice, you allow for flexibility, which is what we need in order to be human. This is not a moral conversation about abortion. Right. This is a practical conversation about women's rights. And by the way, human rights, because women's rights are human rights. And the freedom that we all need to be able to choose and build our lives and have access to excellent health care. My own.
Oh my God, she makes me sick. I wouldn't even get her a towel afterwards. I would just walk out. The whole drama, the closing of the eyes, you're just nuts, right? You're just like Ashley Judd. You're so fucking hot. Why can't you just keep cashing that check? Why do you have to have an opinion too? Can't you just cook? Seriously,
Popeyes.
just fucking cook. Yeah, you're so hot. You don't even need to work. You're just smoking hot, and that's a skill set. But if you are gonna work, and you are gonna go out and not just be hot, at least be right? At least be right. That's what's important. I'm not degrading women. Women have an opinion. Be beautiful, even if you're ugly. I don't care. It doesn't matter. You get an opinion, but what you don't get to do is be wrong and expect me to take you seriously and not say, at least you're pretty. At least you're pretty, because that's what I'm going to say to you, because you're wrong. Because if you're going to sit here out of one side of your mouth and say that you are advocating for women's rights, but you're okay out of the 67 million abortions, roughly 33.5 million females were sucked out of a uterus, limbs ripped off, head popped, and murdered, and then in some cases used for spare parts. You're going to sit here and look me in the eyes and say that women's rights are human rights. First of all, define a woman, you jackass. I am so sick of these people. Somebody make this make. Why? What's wrong with you women? Will you guys claim these people?
No,
what
again,
no.
You guys need to have, shouldn't you have a club or something where you go, should you have a club where you guys get together and figure this shit out so I don't have to listen to it, Liv?
Oh my God. She's
who's going? All right, Liv's going.
It's called mercy. Really? Mercy for who? The 16-year-old slut that couldn't keep her legs closed and wants to have an abortion for frickin' birth control?
Damn.
Because if you use she was raped, that is one of the exceptions. And if I'm not mistaken, abortion was never a right. It's not in the Constitution. It's not in the Bill of Rights.
That's true.
It was never a right that was promised to us by the founding fathers. So that right has not been taken away.
That's true.
And there's all but 2 states that abortion is still legal up to a certain point. And I think Alabama and one other is the only ones that it's like total,
yeah, it's like 12 weeks.
Ban.
There's only a couple.
Alabama's like 6 weeks or something, which is pretty much a total ban because most people don't find out until they're like 8 weeks along anyway. So, but I mean, 15 weeks. That's long enough to decide if you're going to have one or not. So what right are you taking away? The fact that I want to carry this baby to term and then kill it right before it's born? Is that what your right is? Is that what you want to do? And that's your opinion? It's horrible. And it is absolutely murder. And it's not mercy, because who's it mercy for? It's not mercy for the baby. Absolutely not.
Sense.
It's not mercy at all.
You started off, if only we had a way to prevent pregnancy.
Gee, I wonder, birth control condoms?
How about
Keep your fucking legs closed.
Dude, the pull-out method works. I've been doing it 25 years with Olivia, and guess what?
We only had 2 kids. And guess what? They were first time both times. there was no try. It just
pull-out
happened.
method works. And if you don't have that stamina and you don't have that capability, then you should be strapping the Jimmy. And if you still can't do it, watch American Pie, because maybe you just
maybe you need to bake yourself an apple pie.
you just need to stop. But there is a way not to have a child out of wedlock. There is a way not to have a child at 16 years old. It's real simple. Stop fucking. Get some D batteries. Go to Adam and Eve's and get yourself a high powered motor. And, satisfy and gratify. But you can take a cold shower. I don't know what to tell you. But there's a decision that can be made long before abortion, and you made the wrong one. That's your fault.
Exactly.
Liv, go ahead
and
then, Amy.
There are other options. If you are a 16-year-old, I know several people that got pregnant at early ages. And one of them is my coworker. She got pregnant at 16. She had the kid. She now has six children. She's younger than me. But she raised that child, and he is her pride and joy. And she was 16 when she had him. And my cousin was 15 when she had hers, and she raised her baby. And now she became a grandma at 35, which is just insane, but still,
yeah,
but do some, there are so many people who want to adopt. Do an adoption.
Keep your legs closed.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. It's just,
Amy,
it's hot.
Your thoughts. Just by the way, real quick before we get going, I want to say thank you for Kevin's. Kevin,
Thanks, Kev.
Folks, I haven't even asked tonight. I forgot to talk about it, but we are 100% a donation site. Facebook. When we first started 3.5 years, we never asked for a donation ever. In fact, we turned it down, and everyone's heard this. Endlessly, people would call in and they say, "Hey, I want to give you $500. I had a guy. Well, it's not important the amount, but it was a lot." And I said, "No, I don't want it. I don't want anything. Buy a T-shirt, whatever. Give it to a local charity," because we were in a position where we didn't need it, and my income was supplemented by another job when I worked. And trust me, I did a lot, but that was my main job, and this was more of a hobby. Well, when we decided to do this full time, Facebook took 90% of our revenue, and that's a lot of money. I mean, it was able to supplement my job as a vice president for a company. So about 3.5 months ago, we started taking donations. You guys have been absolutely incredible. It has really kind of resurged the coffers. We got some money in the savings again now, and we were running dry. It was to the point where we were like, we can't do the show anymore, and I got to go out and go get a real job, which this is a real job, and it's a lot of work, and I have never worked this hard in my life, but it's insane. So you guys have been amazing. You guys can help out at the show. If you've taken care of your friends, your family, your loved ones, you got your vacation all paid for and planned, everything's good. If you can't, don't. Like the show, follow the show, share it. Those things help out tremendously. But if you are in a situation where you've got all those check marks done, and you have a little extra and you're like, you know what, I'm going to help out the Don't Unfriend Me show. That's what you can do by going to linktapgo.com/thedumbshow. You can hit the tip, which will show up and splash across the screen, or you can send it through PayPal, and I will look at it first. And if you have instructions like I don't want my name on there, or you have a message you want to put into it, we'll go ahead and do that. And then we show those usually 15, 20 minutes after they come through, because I only check it 3 or 4 times a show. If you can help out, we would appreciate it. What else were we going to say? Amy, I know you had something on this, yeah?
I feel like I have a lot, but I think you should change the tip button to just the tip, just because of this conversation.
Oh, dude. Damn.
Oh, yeah. That was
Holy
good.
shite.
Wow.
Okay.
That's awesome.
I feel like I have a lot to say. I'm going to try to say it really quickly. I want to speculate a little bit about Anne Hathaway just really quickly because she has been in the entertainment industry since she was a child. So thanks, Frank.
Thank you, Frank.
So there's a lot of problems with Hollywood and what they do to children, which is going to tie into my next point here. I don't know if something happened to her. I don't know if she was taken advantage of as a child in Hollywood, and she is kind of using this as like a way to tell her story in a way and make her feel better about her decision. And if she had an abortion and she's happy, good for you. 2, I don't know when this world stopped valuing children, but I'm actually really I'm at my breaking point with this. Maybe it's because my kids are getting older and I'm terrified for them. At every turn in this world, something is happening to children. We are constantly seeing kids trafficked, murdered, kidnapped. It's taken advantage of constantly. They're not valued. And it starts in the womb. If you don't want a kid, yes, stop having sex. That is the 100% foolproof way to not get pregnant.
Yeah, but sex feels good, Amy. I don't want to stop having sex. I really like having sex. What could I possibly do besides having sex? Is there anything else I could do?
Yes, you could have a set of morals and values and use that to look internally into yourself to find real fulfillment and know that sex should be with a partner that you love. And it will mean more. And if you put a high value on things like that, it's going to mean more to you than if you just go slut around, if you're male or female. I don't care. It will mean more to you to have sex with somebody that you care about and love.
I have a message from Kamala Harris and Donald Trump. They just left a message on the Hotmail. Sorry, that you incited both of them at the same time. This should be exciting.
Do not come.
Don't.
Do not come.
I'm going to come.
You heard it from Kamala Harris, folks. Don't come.
So Judy mentioned, I didn't realize they had abortion films, abortion videos. Maybe that should be a requirement for a woman, not a person, a fucking woman, because that's the only gender that can get pregnant.
Yeah. Tell them, Liv.
They should watch it before they have one. Or even better, this whole FLE that they have in school now. And apparently this year in 8th grade, Hayden got to watch a live birth. They're showing it. They're showing everything.
Oh my golly.
I didn't know that was happening. At Ethan's age, it's all about hygiene and wearing deodorant and crap. But apparently it's a lot more than I ever learned in high school.
Well, that was some weird shit.
Maybe they should show an abortion video in high school too, like freshman year.
Birth control makes women unattractive and crazy.
And actually show the young sluts that are going to have the abortion.
So let me get this straight.
What it's actually going to be like.
Your argument, to make sure I understand, and this is to show people the consequence of their decision.
Yes.
Wow. I think that's racist.
I mean, the whole point of sex ed and FLE is teaching young kids that, how to have safe sex if you're planning on having sex before marriage, and, try to stay abstinent.
Dude,
and all
okay,
this.
hold on a second. Yenny, stop flaunting that ass. She's
There's
over
so
here
many
just
days.
like,
It's super skinny.
she's over here. She's like, I want to have a baby. I'm ready to go. She's
she's so skinny. I can feel her spine. Oh.
Well, she's gonna be fine. She's been
we're
eating.
gonna fatten her up.
Oh yeah, we're gonna give her some whole chicken.
But,
All right, so
Can I have
first
a
of
quick
all,
question?
you can say and do whatever you want, Ames. It's your show. Go ahead.
No, it's my show now. No, this is just to you guys.
It's always been your show. No, it is your show. You're on the header.
I just this is just for you guys because I don't know this, but when did they start teaching sex education or family life and whatever they call it these days in public school? What grade is that?
I was freshman when I was, and it was.
I mean, nowadays, like for your kids,
started in 5th grade. But like I said, 5th grade, it was, I mean, I guess when I was in 5th grade, they took all the girls into a separate classroom and taught us, what all about having menstrual cycle.
Wait a
was all
second.
about,
Wait a
blah,
second.
blah,
Wait
blah.
a second.
But-
Wait, hold on a second. A man took you in a separate
No. I said a female. It was our counselor, and taught us about pads and tampons and blah 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 blah. When we were in 5th grade.
Okay,
but
can we stop? Can we please stop talking about this now? I'm done. I'm a dad.
Yeah.
I'm good. I don't want to hear about tampons and Tampax, and that's secret woman shit. And you guys need to keep that all under wrap and key.
Yeah.
And
well,
and,
according to the left, you can now use them because you can have a period, dear.
Yeah, you know what? The only time I've ever used a tampon is when I shined my shoes, and man, the Kotex were the greatest thing in the world. They would shine those shoes so fantastically well. Amy, go ahead.
That was it. I was just curious because my kids they don't go to the public school system, and I didn't it's obviously they're in Catholic school. They teach it at a later age, and it's completely different, obviously. So
yeah, Ethan this year it was all about hygiene and how to take make sure you shower every day, or deodorant.
That shit's not working.
And stuff like that. But I think they do it separately. I think they do girls and then boys because it's, different things. I'm not sure. I'd have to ask the kids.
Any girls there? I want to do them. So I don't care about that, right? I mean, I'm fine with this FLE stuff, and it's important. And listen, I learned about sex with Debbie Moore in the back frickin' behind the science building, having stand-up intercourse. That's where a lot of people learned, is high school. And if they can explain this stuff and the dangers, and I agree with you, I think they should show an abortion video. But they won't, because they don't want practicality. They want a fantasy that abortion is just this clump of cells. And when they see that it's not, and when they see the hands and they see the head and they see come on, man, they're going to know, holy shit, this isn't right. And, but here's the thing. It's the same thing with war. It's the same thing before you go to your recruiter. They don't show you a video of what it seems like to friendly fuck your buddy and to see someone get fragged, and you don't get to see the rape and the murder and beheadings and some of the shit that they do to kids, and you don't get to see those things. You don't get to see what it's like pulling some woman and her child out of a mosque because you sent a tomahawk to a fucking area that you didn't mean to. They don't show you those videos. They don't show you what it's like to hold your buddy's innards and tell him that it's going to be okay, and it's not. And the reason why is because nobody would fucking sign up. So they're not going to do that. They're not going to show the truth. But I personally believe that they should show when you're 5 or 6 years old and with your parents, and you go in there and you want to go ahead and get your child baptized at the Catholic Church, that they should probably have a conversation with the parents and talk about the predators that have been inside the church. I think when you take your kid to the Boy Scouts, they should talk about the horrendous shit that they had to do. If people need to go ahead and file for being sexual predators, then so do these companies who've done it. Disney needs to talk about the underground sex trafficking that they had at their fucking parks.
Yep.
And all over the world, Paris, Florida, Los Angeles, China, all connected with child sex trafficking. Every single person should get a little pamphlet that says, this is what we've done. I think every single person who buys a gun should see the statistics of what a child looks like who got their parents' gun and decided to play guns and shot their brother. And you should see photographs of that. I think you should show drunk driving accidents and how my dad would have to peel people out of the seat because they were melted to it after they went into a fucking tree. All of these things should be shown, but nobody wants to see this stuff. And there's only a select few who have seen this, who have a different view of the world, because we didn't close our eyes and we saw things that were horrendous. And trust me, man, I wake up in sweats and I wake up in the cold shakes, and Olivia will tell you most nights. But there's a lot of things people should see, but people want to keep their eyes closed, and it's terrible.
They want to live in their bubble.
Yeah.
I do too, but I don't want my kids to be taken advantage of. Do you know what I'm
You're
saying?
right.
Like,
I'm with you.
So yeah, it's all about education. I think they did show drunk driving videos. I think we watched them in high school, and then they brought the car to our high school before prom. Do you remember that when they parked like the totaled car out in front of your high
Yeah, they
school?
don't do that anymore.
They don't do that.
They
No,
don't-
back when I was.
They don't do it because it's an EV and the whole fucking thing melted. So they can't. They're like,
Exactly.
they're like, here we go, everybody. I want to show you. Here's the remaining parts of the EV vehicle. They fit in this Tupperware. This is my speed. Just take that. So,
Your speed.
so
Got
it
mine
just there's a lot of things that should be seen by people who they just close their eyes, and an abortion is one of those things where they should educate. I mean, they should show the Japanese internment camps and what went on there. They should show the hundreds of thousands of Native Americans and the mass graves. There's a lot of things we should see. But see, this is the difference, right? Is that people want to have their narrative and they just want to be cozy with it versus kind of peeling their eyes back and realizing that the world is a very ugly place and a lot of horrible things have happened. But we're not educating our kids for this. And a lot of the things that our kids will learn will be because they stepped in it versus we're told to walk around it. You know, they'll step on that landmine and make that mistake. And I've tried to educate my children. Like, here's an example. We're driving down Harry Bird Highway. We had to rename it because I guess the guy was a racist or some shit. Who cares? Route 7. And there was a deer. And the deer legs were straight up in the air and rigor mortis had set in. And I drove by and all of our heads went like this. It was Hayden in the front, Ethan in the back, and all three of us. And then kept driving.
Hayden thought that was a dog last night.
Nobody said, you're ruining my story. Sorry. It's okay. It's you know, sometimes my stories need everybody locked in. So I'm just going to turn your ass off. There you go. So as we're driving and everybody head looks this way. And I was wondering who was going to, you know, break the silence and who was going to say something. And nobody said anything. And then I'm like, oh dear. And Hayden's like, starts laughing. She's like, stop. And Ethan's like, Dad. And I'm like, you're right. What the buck was that?
Of course you did.
Dad jokes.
Oh yeah.
And I said, doe, a deer, a female deer. and we just started laughing. And the first reaction that you usually get is, oh my God, I don't want to see that. It's so gross. Or, oh my God, look at the poor deer, she's dead. And I like to think that my kids have been exposed to things that they realize that instead of making it anxiety filled and realizing that death is a part of life. And although it's sad, they didn't know the deer. They didn't have a relationship with the deer. And ultimately, tens of thousands of deer die every single year that they have no idea about.
We see so many every year.
They get their chest blown out by a frickin' 308, or they have a mass tick infestation and they die, or they get eaten by a predator. And so a lot of the things that we do as a society is for attention. And I think if we can try to figure out a way to expose people to certain things so they can learn, that attention-seeking behavior won't be there. Like Anne Hathaway, who's like, I'm 45. I'm never going to be pregnant. I'm never going to be a mother. I'm never going to be married. But just in case that little girl that I know next door needs to get an abortion, she can. You're doing this for attention. You're never going to have an abortion. It doesn't matter. For you to sit here and say that some 6-year-old or 14-year-old is going to get pregnant, listen, you can go out of state and have an abortion. You can go, and as long as you can prove that there is a viable reason for termination, like your life is in danger, you have to prove that. with a doctor. And if a doctor says your life isn't in danger, but you're like, yeah, no, it really is. Your opinion is not warranted here. And just because you were stupid and got pregnant, you need to fly to Louisiana, or you need to fly to frickin' California, or you need to, and go get your abortion. Because the last time I checked, abortions are a medical procedure and they're expensive for somebody who's single. So I understand how hard that is. Maybe instead of spending $750 on an abortion and then a few $100s on a plane ticket, you could have just sprung for a $1.25 condom and made the right decision, or got on birth control, or got the Tesla stick inserted, because it's what it looks like. It looks like the Tesla symbol, whatever, but better decisions. So this long rant that I'm on, we need to educate. We need to rip off the tape from their eyes and show them the darker side of life. And unfortunately, I don't know what we're doing. I want to shelter my kids. I don't think that's a good idea. Our parents tried that with us. And I'm like, holy shit, can somebody put me back in the womb? This place sucks. I don't want to be out here. I don't want to be eating ramen. I don't want to have to think about selling my body on the street corner so I can pay rent. Can we, which I wouldn't make any money, but I think we need to tell kids that life is hard and there are horrible things out there, and warn them by showing them real life examples so they make better decisions and stop making decisions based on attention-seeking behavior. That's my argument.
Yeah.
Ladies, your thoughts?
Yeah, we always raised our kids honestly and open, and we told them the truth about everything. And it may have taken away a little bit of their innocence, but I would rather that they know they're knowledgeable and they know what could happen than to not. And like Hayden's school, when she was in second grade in Texas, they actually had a live intruder drill where their vice principal dressed up in all black and had a water gun. But they had the police there, the fire there, and they taught them how to evacuate the school. And they actually went and did it. And the vice principal went around and was shooting kids with water guns, and to make it seem real. And Hayden knew who he was, knew exactly what was happening. She said she was still freaked out. But we talked to her about it beforehand. And we've always been open with them. And we've never, sheltered them from real life and what can happen in real life. And they've watched the news with us and everything. So,
Ames, your thought, and I know you protect your kids incessantly, and
I do.
So do we, but not to that level, because we just have a different mindset. It's like, I'm preparing them for what they're about to see, and their course of action is going to be different. They want to join the military, and before they do that, they got to understand what they're getting into, right? And this is by choice. And I'm like, you know, go to college, go do a 2-year and get straight A's. And then I will help you with the following 2 years of the university. No, we're going to go in the military and just do it ourselves. Okay, well, I better prepare you for what you're about to see. But Amy, your thoughts on all this?
I completely agree with you guys. I do shelter my kids. I shelter them, and I have a boy and a girl, just like you guys. My son's older. He's very naive for his age. I know this because I see him hang around his friends, and his friends are way more worldly than him. So we've had to have a lot more conversations that I'm not prepared to have yet, but we're having them. And I think I told you guys this, but I'm going to send him to public middle school because I do. Yeah, I do. I think, well, both my kids. I think we're just going to do elementary school. We'll see. I might have
you chosen his gender yet?
We're going to let him decide.
It's a good choice. That's a good choice. You should ask his permission when changing his diaper. If you haven't done that already, you're way behind. But
oh my gosh, my kids, they have a little experience with seeing other people in the world that are considered trans. And there's one person that we see pretty often. And they just, we don't really talk about it because we're not even sure which gender it started as at this point. Like it's kind of like it's a very nice person. I love this person. I don't want to ask them personal questions. Yeah.
They're the greatest person. They're the most beautiful person. Just
They're the best.
if you ask anyone, they'll tell you they're so beautiful.
They're just very friendly, very nice. But I don't know which one they started as, but they're in the middle of the mess and they look a little bit of a mess outwardly, but their insides are very kind and nice. But my kids are always like, and their name's obviously a transgender chosen name. So I'm not going to call this person out, but it's just, they make comments about the outfits that this person chooses or the color on their nails, or it's just, yeah, because it could, I don't know. We don't know. So they're starting to get a little bit more clued into the horrible world we live in, thanks to their friends. So
real quick, Amy Stamcombe says, what happened to Bowman? He lost his seat. Yes, we're going to go over it together. Thomas Griffiths has a great question. Do any of you have to deprogram your kids after a week in school, or at least speak to them about what's true and what's not? This is a great question.
It is, but no. And the reason why is we have told our children and we've told them what's out there, and they've watched the videos on YouTube from the Loudoun County School District school board meetings. They've seen it. We've told them what's going on in the schools. We told them what could possibly be in their libraries. And we told them what the teachers are doing is telling the children, you don't take this book home. Don't tell your parents you're reading it. We've told them, if any teacher ever says, do not tell your parents about this assignment or this book or this movie that you're watching in class, the first thing you do is immediately come tell us. And we've told them this, and we've taught them this, and we've told them if there's any time that you feel uncomfortable reading a book that is mandatory, you come to us and you talk to us. So no, but our schools are pretty good so far. I mean, first year of high school, next year we're going to see how the high school is, but so far the elementary school and the middle school are pretty good right now.
Amy, what about you?
Yeah.
And then I'll answer.
Yeah, so I actually do talk to my kids, but not so much in like a deprogramming way. If they come to me and say something that I vehemently disagree with, I'll tell them, I completely disagree with this, and I want you to think about what you've been told, and then also think about this side of it, and then also what do you feel is morally correct about what you're telling me, and what do you think is more, like, we go back and forth. We have a conversation, not like a let me deprogram you, but it's more like, a lot of people do feel this way. You are going to encounter a million people who feel this way, but then there's another side to things. And it's not necessarily with school. It's really just other people in our lives that are bringing stuff into our home that is fine. It's fine. We're not upset about it. We want them to experience these things, but we're not going to say it's wrong or right. I want them to think for themselves.
Yeah.
The right way, though. The right way.
Yeah. I've thought about this, and my daughter went through the programming, and she was going down that path. So I let her go down it, and I protected her. In fact, Tammy, who I absolutely love, who's Olivia's mom and my mom, because I see her that way, and she's been there for me. She's put her arms around me when I was at my worst, and I love her to death. I love that woman. There's times I want to just strangle her, but she feels the same way about me, I'm sure. I mean, I can guarantee it. Are you kidding me? But she's been there. And when I think about my daughter or my son, they have a right to explore what they want to explore and feel what they want to feel to a limit. And when Tammy was over here, we had already had the talk about 2 transgender kids who were in our home, and my daughter invited them over. My daughter collects people. She collects lost causes because she is one, like I was. But she's also extremely fucking smart and way mature for her age. And she has stated her opinion on this show that she does not believe that men can be women and women can be men. She doesn't believe that transgender people, that it's real from a physicality sense and a gene sense, but from a mental sense, they could be socially something else, and that could be an instability, or that could just be a choice, or whatever it is. But she is very adamant about that. And my job as a father was that there are times she didn't want to talk about it. And this was a huge topic, and it was around our table. It was on the show all the time, and Grandma brought it up, and Grandma wasn't okay. Of course, Grandma's not okay. Grandma was born in a different time, different place, and doesn't rock that way. And ultimately, she started talking to Hayden, and Hayden is so sweet and kind that I could tell she was uncomfortable. But she didn't say she was uncomfortable, because she had told Olivia, and Liv, you were there several times, she didn't want to talk about this shit. So when Grandma came out, I kind of came out, and the first time, like, hey, what are we doing? What are we talking about? And then I tried to switch gears, and the gears weren't switched. And so I went back in the room, and then it continued to be, well, I just, don't blah, 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 blah. And I finally came out and I said, okay, enough. And we had let Grandma know some of the things that Hayden was going through. This was right during the CPS thing and all this other stuff, where Hayden told them that we were transphobic and homophobic, which is the stupidest fucking thing ever. I'm like one Barry Manilow record and some Vaseline, and I'm ready to gay it up.
We've seen you and Leroy on the show. We know.
Totally. Why do you think I'm at a standing desk with Izzo? So, and the long story longer is that it was my job to defend her. And I think doing that and letting her explore, because there's other things we've tried to force her on, and she's just not down for it. And then she does the opposite. And quickly, we had this conversation. She is teaching herself piano. And when I say teaching herself piano, holy fucking shit, she is doing things on the piano. Olivia's been playing piano her whole life, and we're sitting here going, how? And she plays by ear, and she's doing full songs, and it's ridiculous. It's not easy stuff. I mean, this is.
She started playing Phantom of the Opera.
Yeah, so she's doing things that. So I sat down with her and said, I want to tell you a story. There's a guy named James Christensen who is an artist, and he did these eclectic nursery rhymes and Shakespeare paintings for kids, and he Mormon, Utah professor, and we saw him at Greenwich Village in the Thousand Oaks Mall, and I brought him my art, and I showed him my book, and I was like 13 years old, and he looks at us and goes, listen, every day when I do these shows and I go around the country during the summer, I only see adults who spend tens of thousands of dollars on my paintings, and I never see any kids. And I, as a professor at Brigham Young University, can give out a certain amount of scholarships a year. And every year I never give them out because I never meet anybody. He's like, you're 13 years old, and I want you to send me your drawings. And if you just send me your drawings, I'll have a full scholarship for you to BYU when you're 18 years old. And I will put that in writing and in a trust for your family. Man, my parents went out and bought me $300-400 worth of pencils and different forms of media, and I didn't touch any of them. There's nothing they could do to make me draw because I didn't want it and I didn't care. And that is how stubborn I was as a child. They couldn't get me. My mom slapped me several times and said, you're throwing away and squandering an opportunity. They tried to get me for 2 years to do it. I would not do it because that's not why I did art. I did it because I enjoyed it, and I didn't want to do it the rest of my life. And my daughter, Olivia, wants her to do voice lessons and wants her to take piano. And she's like, no, I don't want to. So yesterday, quickly, I'm sorry, this isn't quick, but I'm sorry. I sat down when she was playing piano. I just went up to her and I said, it's an interesting thing. She's right here. And I said, it's an interesting thing. And I told her the story. And I said, gosh, you're beautiful. You're so pretty.
Thank you.
And you look like your mama. And I said to her, I was you, and I told her the story, and I said, so if you don't want to learn piano, you don't have to. You don't want to take voice lessons, you don't have to. But you may want to know that you can play by ear, but someday you may want to read music, and this is a great way for you to learn just another way to do something. And your thoughts on that conversation?
I said, like, I would like to do voice lessons at some point, but I don't want to do piano. Like, it's not that I don't want to learn, it's just I don't care enough. No offense, Mom.
They gotta see you.
I'm over that.
So where are you going?
Here?
No, I meant just lean in so they could see you. Your head was cut off. They couldn't see you. So the story. So people were asking, like, when it came to DEI and all this other stuff, that we never pushed you and never, like, was that the right way to handle it for you, is to kind of let you see the light when you came to us with questions or comments? Like, as parents, your thoughts on how we handled all that stuff for you to be where you are mentally now?
DEI question mark?
Diversity, equity, inclusion, transgender, social, liberal shit.
Oh. I don't know. I mean, you guys are very open with your political opinion from when I was a young age, but you always allowed me to have my own. And if I had a different opinion than yours, you accepted debate on it. And sometimes yours would change, sometimes it wouldn't, but you never forced me to change mine. I've always been allowed to have my own opinion.
Yeah, I don't agree with that. You're going to have to change your mind.
Excuse you.
So you're saying we did okay as mom and dad?
Yeah.
Because you've said there were times you hated us, but you've
that was not a good time. So
no, but recently you're like, you guys saved my life, and I mean, you've said some very kind, nice things, and the thing I love about you now is you take responsibility when you're wrong, and when you're right, you stand up for yourself. Like,
yeah, I do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
All right.
I think the biggest compliment as a mom that she can give me is that we went bathing suit shopping last night.
Oh my God.
And I'm not going to say anything about it. I'm just saying that the suits that I picked out that she passed by and was like, nope, I'm never going to wear them. And then I went out and I said, hey, there's a lot of cute suits out there. She's like, okay, whatever, just bring them in and I'll try them on. The two suits that I thought were the cutest are the ones she got. And they're her favorite. And she looked at them first and was like, no, I'll never wear it. But so that's the biggest compliment, that she's actually open to stuff that I think is great. But they looked good on her anyway.
I play guitar. I've never read one note of music, and I play the songs I love and enjoy, and I play by ear, and that's how Hayden plays. And I look at it this way. Is Hayden is a dilettante, and she'll be a dilettante, however you want to say it. Yes, 2 thumbs up. A dilettante, and I'm the same way, and which means that I'm really good at just about everything, and I'm not excellent at anything. And there's nothing wrong with that. I was good at rugby. I was a good hockey player. I'm an excellent marksman. You know, that's one thing I'm excellent at. I'm a fairly excellent graphic designer. But I'm good at everything I try, but I'm not great at anything. And if that's, I told her, he said, that's the way you go through life, then you're always going to be viable and people are going to want you around. Anyway.
I gave up on the piano dream of her learning it when she was about 8, shortly after Matt got me my piano. And she said she wanted to learn and take lessons. I'm like, okay. I'll try and teach you a little bit beforehand. 5 minutes in, she decides to tell me that I'm wrong and that the way she's doing it is correct and I don't know what I'm talking about. I said, fuck it, I'm done.
Yeah.
I said, you want lessons? I'll get you a teacher. But I refuse to teach you.
Yeah, that's why I wouldn't qualify Olivia for her concealed carry. I was like, I'm not going to teach you how to fire a weapon. I'm just not going to. You're not going to listen to me. So we're going to have Mike do it. And then that's the way I am. Now, Amy, I would show Amy absolutely, because I got no problem doing that. Not my wife. I'm not going to show my wife how to fire a weapon. It's just not going to happen. Shit. Now I'll show her and give her tips and tricks. But she's like, can you teach me how to sweep the house? I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? You want me to? Are you sure? So I started doing it. So she comes around a corner, and I'm like, on her back, you're dead. She's like, what the fuck? I'm like, you forgot your left side. You forgot pie. I'm not hitting her, but I'm tapping her on the back, right? I'm like letting her know you're dead. You're dead. That's how I learned. And every time she would, drag the corner, or she would flag me, or she would flash herself in a mirror with a flashlight and blind herself, or whatever it be. You're dead. You're dead. You're dead. And finally, she's like, "Fuck! I can't do anything right." I'm like, exactly. That's not the way she should learn. She needs to learn from a person who's like, "Okay, Olivia, are you ready? Let's go ahead and pick up your weapon." That's good. No, she does, because she needs to be eased into it. I don't know how to do that.
I think, and I don't know how to sweep my own house, but I was taught some basics about sweeping and how to, using corners, using distance, how to position yourself if there's a wall here and there's a hallway here, the best way to angle yourself. So I think you start with those basics first.
Right.
Just the generalization of
we tried that.
Math
That didn't work.
Yeah.
I tried to explain to her that wall isn't cover.
Right.
And that when she comes around a corner, you're not protected, right? So your first instinct is to stay behind that corner, and that's not protection. And in fact, your entry should not be stopped. It should be constantly moving forward, quick, decisive moments, and you use your angles to uncover the room, not use the wall for protection, because it isn't protection. And the moment that you hug that wall,
you're dead.
Someone's gonna unload into that wall, and then you're gonna go down. So it's not using the wall as cover. It's recognizing that wall is creating a blind spot, and how do you navigate that quickly and effectively? That was the first lesson, and it was just walk the room. Just walk the room as you would if there's somebody bad in here. And it was a very surreal experience to not even have a weapon in your hand. But this takes hours upon hours and days of training to understand how to sweep a room effectively. And the only thing it's going to teach you, bam, you're dead, start over. Bam, reset the clock, you're dead, start over. And that's the only way you're going to learn. And this is why team guys go through, on an average op, 400 or 500 hours of training before they go and do something in a lot of these cases. It's just something to think about. The wall is not your friend when you're sweeping a room. Anyway,
Speaking of Hayden, one more thing about Hayden. She went on her first date today. Oh, she's coming back in. And she held hands with the boy. I'm just like,
fucking, who cares?
oh, it just,
Oh,
look at
no,
her.
that's cute. Oh,
Oh,
that's
look, the
awesome.
whole fam's in here.
That's awesome.
Can we
I want to
leave?
hear all about it.
Bye.
So
This
okay,
is what will
good.
happen
Love
to
you
your
guys.
show, Matt, if you die. We're going to turn
Exactly, just so you know.
Oh, sorry for blasphemy. Let's get into this real quick. First of all, we're not going to have time for Jamaal Bowman. He lost. No more fire alarm polling. No more epic meltdowns. No more hearing how he was a teacher and him asking, "Were you a teacher? Were you a teacher? Were you a teacher? I was a teacher. Were you a teacher? Were you a teacher?" Oh, God, that fucking guy. He's gone. Thank God. One member of the squad is down. 9 more to go. Time to get rid of all of them. Island Omar, Rashid Tlaib, Jaya Powell, all these douche plows. But now we've got KJP.
Oh, yay. It's funner with gin sake because we can drink with that one.
Yeah. Here we go.
President Trump can talk policy on Thursday, which remains an open question. We'll see what kind of performer he is that night. One of the places he's undoubtedly going to go is to inflation, which everybody across the country is feeling despite all that economic data we talk about all the time that is so strong. The economy's thriving. Talk about things costing too much. He'll look into the camera maybe and say, that your cereal costs too much. He'll go down the list of groceries and gas. How will the president address that criticism?
So here's the thing. This is something that we've been talking about for some time, right? The economy. And you're right. The data shows that the economy is indeed.
Does anyone want to tell me what the Hatch Act is?
I looked it up for you, but I didn't really read it.
I can read it. Yeah, well, I can read what Olivia sent in the chat.
Okay. Why don't you go ahead and read what the Hatch Act is so everyone can understand it?
The Hatch Act restricts the political activity of individuals principally employed by state, District of Columbia, or local executive agencies who work in connection with programs financed in whole or part by federal loans or grants.
Thank you, Amy. That was a very strong literal definition. And remember, this is city, state, and local and federal. So when you have somebody who comes on TV like Newsom, who's a governor, and he starts talking about Donald Trump, he is in violation of the Hatch Act. There are certain situations that he is allowed to speak about his political opponent in a race, but that falls under a certain time frame, under a certain parameter, and has to be logged and has to be submitted. You can't just go ahead and stump about Ron DeSantis if you're not running against Ron DeSantis. Every single one of these politicians that are on federal payroll, whether it be a judge, whether it be a state representative, city council, dog catcher, sheriff, these people are in violation of the Hatch Act when they use national platforms or the national stage or a local town hall or a state convention to discuss political diatribes of information about someone else. What KJP is doing is going on the national stage, taking money from this station as she's a federal employee, which is a conflict of interest and in violation of the Hatch Act. And it's not just her, it's anyone who does it. Anybody who works for the federal government who goes on and takes money and talks about political opponents like this and using that platform is in violation of the Hatch Act. Here's the rest of it, and you tell me, is she in violation?
It's stronger, and we understand that we came out of a pandemic, a once-in-a-century pandemic. And the work that this president did from the American Rescue Plan to the bipartisan infrastructure legislation to the Inflation Reduction Act, all of these historic pieces of legislation has helped this country get back on its feet. So yes, eggs and milk, and there were grocery things that were up. It has gone down. It has gone down since 2022. Gas prices, because of the actions that this president took, and let's not forget there was an invasion, but Russia did obviously into Ukraine that caused gas prices to tick up. The president took action, tapped the SPR, and we saw gas prices go down. The president has met the moment with every issue that we have had in front of us. The president obviously talks about that often. He's going to have another opportunity on Thursday to speak to those issues. And look, we're talking about Donald Trump, which I just mentioned, Dobbs decision. The reason why we have chaos right now after the Dobbs decision, the reason why after Roe v. Wade was overturned after it being constitutional law for 50 years, is because of what Donald Trump did in his administration. And now IVF is on the line. Contraception is on the line. I was thinking about when I was sitting here before starting this conversation, there's some of us who have young children. Can you believe that we have more rights? We had more rights growing up than our kids. That's because of the Trump administration and what they were able to do. So there's a lot here. There's a big contrast in what we're trying to do on behalf of the American people.
I found out that KJP was paid for her interviews. That is in a trust because she has to declare that to the FEC. So anytime that she is on these talk shows, they have a trust set up for them where they actually will get the money when they get out, but they're still being paid on the clock. So if you go to any of these filings, and it's not just KJP, it's other press secretaries too, she is out here stumping. She is a paid employee, and she is stumping on the national stage because using her press secretary status to enter the political fray and stump for Joe Biden. So that would be like somebody taking and giving me stock and saying, well, once you're out of public office, it'll vest. Well, that's not the way this works. She's being paid to say the things that she's saying, and she currently works for the Biden administration. I was going to say Obama, and that's true for sure. It is the Obama administration. Folks, if you have not liked the show, we've got a lot of people on trying to get over 100. Let's go. Slow night tonight. Not sure why, but it's Wednesday. I think people are gearing up for the debate tomorrow, knowing it's going to be a long show, which is fine by me. Anybody want to go ahead and take on female buckwheat here? Listen, you know what? At this point, it's not racist. It's funny. It's fucking funny because how can a lesbian talk about children? Does she have kids? What is she adopting? What is she doing? Artificial insemination? What was she a straight woman before? And well, that really is not going to play well with the "I was born this way." This isn't homophobic. It's not racist. She looks like fucking buckwheat. I'm sorry. And just like I made fun of Jayapal looking like an Oompa Loompa, and I've made fun of Joy Reid, I make fun of everybody who's an idiot, and it has nothing to do with the color of her skin. But I swear to God, if they were going to make an hour gain, generation 2024, Otay.
Yeah, that was quick, Ramon.
What did Ramon say? I just said Otay.
I thought you saw the comment.
I said Otay first. I don't read people's comments and take them as my own, like some people, Olivia. Unlike some Robin Hoods, I can actually speak with a British accent.
I don't know what you're talking about because I don't do that.
You used to when you first got here. You'd be like, so what do you think, Olivia? You'd be like, I think Otay. No, you've gotten much better.
Golly.
What do we think here, folks? I mean, is this a violation of the Hatch Act according to what it says? Or?
I would think it is, just from what she's saying. I mean, if she's up there being the press secretary and she's up there, this is what, this is where this president stands and this is, the White House, blah, 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 blah. Thank you, Violet. And
Thank you, Violet.
And then she's not, because she's the White House press secretary. She's talking about the current administration. But once she brought Trump into it and started talking negatively about Trump, then yes, I think she's in violation of it.
That's right. That's fair. Amy?
Yes, I agree with that statement. I would just like to add that nothing will happen to her because she is on the correct side of the aisle when it comes to being in trouble for anything. So, doesn't matter.
Tell me that's not KJP.
Golly.
That's horrible.
Seriously, it's not. Why is that horrible?
So funny.
We grew up with Little Rascals. Little Rascals was awesome. Everyone loved Buckwheat. What was wrong with Buckwheat? Buckwheat was fucking awesome, man. Otay. It's fantastic. I loved all of them. Like Alfalfa was some sort of endearing white person. Give me a break. What about Spanky? He was a fat little shit who wore a little... the only person there who was actually somewhat normal was Darla. And she was a whore. She was taking it in the ass. God, seriously, everybody wanted a piece.
She was being passed around the clubhouse.
She was, dude. She was a 14-year-old that was going to get an abortion for sure. But the Little Rascals were our gang. They were all messed up. Nobody cared. What about the one kid? Who was the nerd, the blonde nerd with the glasses who always had hay fever?
I didn't watch the old school one. I watched the 90s movie.
Oh God, you're so young. But
I know.
Who gives a shit? She looks like buckwheat. It's not racist. Everyone's like, well, people used to say buckwheat is a racial term. Who gives a shit? And that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying she looks like buckwheat. That's the best. Okay, fine. Do you want me to be better? She looks like Tracy fucking Chapman, okay?
Froggy was the kid's name.
Yeah, Froggy. That's right. Yeah, he talks like this. Mm-hmm. My name's Froggy. Yeah. Sounds just like that because I can do voices like crazy. She looks like Tracy Chapman, but ugly. Because Tracy Chapman is, I just think there's something special about Tracy Chapman.
I do too. I like her.
I love her voice. I think her style. She looks like Tracy Chapman. Okay, is that better? Tracy Chapman looks like buckwheat sometimes. I'm just letting you know. Like, who cares? It's not racist, folks. Racist is when you use it as a derogatory term. I just think KJP is dumb as dog shit. I think she's stupid. Yeah. That's why I don't like her. Okay? It's the same reason I don't like Marjorie Taylor Greene. Marjorie Taylor Greene, Bruce Jenner is a better looking woman than Marjorie Taylor Greene. And I think she's dumb as dog shit. And I think Lauren Boebert's got a great pair of hooters. Just telling you.
I hate men.
Did you see Martin Short on Bill Maher when he was just it was so funny. He was making fun of Martin. It was just I like Bill Maher. I don't agree with everything he says, but we watch his show pretty religiously. So he had on Martin Short
religiously. Oh.
Yes. Religiously or whatever.
Have you seen Religulous?
I have, yeah.
Okay, so sorry, I just thought it was funny that you would say Bill Maher and religion in the same sentence. That's like saying the KKK
together.
and the NAACP. Go ahead.
But he had on Martin Short because Bill Maher has a book that came out. I don't know what it's called, but he was like interviewing him. But what's the character he used to dress up as? Martin Short. It's like the fat guy. I don't know. But he was just making fun of everybody, and he made some
Jiminy. Well,
Yes,
was that rhetorical? I'll just shut up.
No.
Jiminy Glick. Jiminy Glick was the character.
That's the guy. That's the guy. I forget that you know everything. Anyone else I would talk to about this conversation would not know the name. So I forget that you know everything. So I just keep going.
It's an accomplished man who knows everything. I'm just saying. I think I finally reached the pinnacle.
Hey, when's our anniversary?
August 22nd, 2001.
Nope. But nice try. So he doesn't know everything.
September 22nd, 2001. August 21st, 2002. September 20. I don't care. I can't do dates.
August 22nd, 2002. You had the first date the wrong
You have
year.
to understand is that's just dyslexia and that's my numbers. I'm horrible with that. That's different. There's Jiminy Glick.
Yeah.
You know what? But you can ask me what it smelled like. You can ask me what you were wearing. You can tell me how many times you quivered on our honeymoon, and I'll tell you all of it. Okay, go ahead, Ames. Jiminy Glick. Go ahead.
It was just funny, and he was making fun of Marjorie Taylor Greene too. He made fun of everybody. It was a really cute, like funny skit because it's on Bill Maher, and I feel like a lot of times he does walk the line on his show a lot, but he made fun of everybody. It was good.
Well, listen, it's not. If KJP walked up to my door, you know what I would do? Oh my God, you're press secretary Claude Jean-Pierre. You should come in. I would love to have a conversation with you. Or if she had a flat tire, I'd fix her tire. And if she needed to borrow $100 to get someplace, I'd give her $100 because it's not about that. But you are in the political fray, so you're a target. And I'm going to hit you when you're a fucking idiot. But when you need help, I'm not going to do that. And if somebody picks on you because you're black, I'm going to stand there right behind you back to back with a baseball bat. We're going to fuck them up together. But when you're in the political fray, you're going to get slapped when you're an idiot. So, and you look like buckwheat. So fix your fucking hair or don't. Because this whole thing that this is like from the Shaka Zulu tribe of Africa. No, it's not. Nobody wore their hair like that. Nobody bleached their hair in Africa. I'm sorry. Okay. And the reason why is because the things that would bleach your hair aren't available, like peroxide and salt, because you're in the middle of the fucking desert. Okay. So I don't know this isn't heritage. You chose this thing and you want to look like Barbra Streisand or some other shit. I don't know. But Jim Renfro's dick during the 70s, because that thing, it looks like shit. I'm just telling you, look horrible and you look like buckwheat. So there you go. That's it. That's all I got to say. Maybe that's mean. I don't know. Am I being mean tonight, ladies? Is that what it is? I'm being mean to Claude Jean-Pierre.
Like you're in a great mood tonight, honestly.
I'm in a great mood. I hate she's stupid. I can't stand stupid people.
I think she's condescending too.
Oh, and she doesn't answer a fucking question. What do you mean? Inflation. Oh, those things at the grocery store. What things? What are you talking about? You haven't been shopping because you make $175,000 a year. That's a good living. And you have everything's exempt for you. You have your own driver. You get subsidies for living in Washington, D.C. You got a good job. You're a millionaire when you leave. You're going to get a job on CNN or MSNBC. Can you stop pretending and stop lying to people? You sat up there for 3.5 years and you were complicit in the lie to America that our border was secure as babies are being raped and fucking strangled to death. And you don't have the common decency to shut the fuck up for 5 minutes and just answer a question like you're supposed to and be honest. I don't know, man. I would never sell my soul like that. I would never go up there and lie for some dipshit like Joe Biden, who is one of the biggest racists in the world. You're selling yourself out. You're an African-American. You're a lesbian. And you allow this Democrat Party, who just started caring about you 15 years ago because of votes, and they didn't give a shit about you until they knew that they couldn't win another election without curtailing the black people and putting you for 75 years in the worst possible position. And you're sitting here and you're sucking up to one of those people who put those crimes and those criminal justice laws in place with Joe Biden, how in the fuck can she represent Joe Biden when he is the worst of what Washington was?
It's a great segue into saying, join our club. I don't know what it's called because I'm dumb. Is it the DUM Club? That's what it's called.
Yeah, it's
I
real
should
tough.
know that.
It's real tough, real hard.
So you can watch Primary Colors, which I feel touches on all of these things in the movie. Watch it with us on Saturday. So join the
Saturday, and you can watch. Come here.
She wants it.
Come here. You can
I'm
watch.
very
Okay,
excited
so
for this.
you can go to the Dumb Show. Yeah, dumbshow.com. Go to the dumbclub.com, and you can actually watch Primary Colors. I just don't like people who sell out. You know what I mean? It would be like me defending Bill Clinton, even though I think Bill Clinton was a fairly decent president. He was actually fairly decent. But what he did to the military was an absolute travesty. And the reason why a lot of our brothers and sisters put guns in their mouth is because of what Bill Clinton did. And he cut the bases. He shrunk the military. He cut the most prominent, most important things. Not only concluded Reagan's work of closing psychiatric hospitals in the United States, but also shutting the ones down in the VA that would help veterans. So if you want to sit here and pretend that Bill Clinton was a good person for losing psychological and psychiatric help and just prescribing psychotropic drugs to people and not having any guidance, and that was good for America, 22 veterans today who commit suicide would tell you differently. And all those presidents have a responsibility, from Bush to Obama to Junior to Senior to Reagan to Clinton. You know one who doesn't? Donald Trump, because he's the only one that fucking did anything for the vets. So I have a problem with me getting up there and Bill Clinton going, Matt, I need you to come work for me. I do, Monica. You need to help me, man. The shit is out of the goose, and I am telling you, the barn door is ajar. I need you here. I need you to come for me right now. I'm going to pay you $1.7 million, and I've got a painting of me in a blue dress with red heels you're going to fucking love. Please come work for me. And I'd be like, Mr. President, I appreciate that. Thank you for the things you did for our country that I like. But according to my morals and values, I believe that you abandoned veterans. So I'm going to have to respectfully decline. Thank you. I'm sure there's someone else out there who can help you. I appreciate the service you did have for our country. But I do disagree vehemently with the way you treated our vets. Have a nice day. That's what I would say. I would be respectful, and I'd tell him no. The fact that KJP is up there working for one of the most ardent racists in Washington, Joe fucking Biden, who eulogized 4 Klan members, who said, you vote for Donald Trump, you ain't black. He's going to put you back in chains, see? No. And she sold her soul. So that's my opinion. And so I don't like her. Okay? So I'm calling her buckwheat. Cool? Great. Liv, you got 1 minute.
Thanks for watching, everyone.
That's it.
Glad the kitty's back, and thanks for everyone for donating.
We got our mascot back for the cat, and that's exciting. Amy, are you going to be here Saturday to watch Primary? Jaime, are you going to be watching Primary Colors with us?
It's been in my calendar for a month now. Yes, I will be here. I'll be here tomorrow too. I'm so excited.
Have you ever seen it?
But yes, I have. Yes, I've seen it. It's a long movie, but yes. I think we'll watch it again before I watch it on Saturday with you guys, just to remember.
There's nothing fun in that. You got to watch it. Watch it live with us. It's probably one of my favorite political movies. I'm a big fan of that. I mean, there's several. Where was our cat? She was in the woods for like 9 days. She was out getting laid. So I don't know what she was doing, but she's back. Anyway, listen, folks, do me a favor. If you have not had a chance, tomorrow we're going to be 7:00 live. And Amy, you guys don't have to show up till the debate. Unless you guys decide when you want to come. It's 9:00. The debate starts. So if you guys want to be there before and beyond, or beyond during the debate, it's up to you. Whatever you want to do.
Dressing up as like who we want to win, like if I want to dress up as Joe Biden or Donald Trump, or
sure, you can dress up as Joe Biden if you want to, Joe Biden or KJP, whoever you relate with more, you can dress up as. That would be fine. Dylan Mulvaney. I was gonna say, I was like, Dylan Mulvaney comes to mind. So hi, but yeah, you get to decide. Jay Hennessy's make it so that the history books say how Biden was on top, why you think everything is digital nowadays, easily erased and doctored. Lying. Look at the kids' history books nowadays and look at our history books we was reading. You will see what they are rewriting in their agenda. Well, Jay, this is nothing new quickly with the Democrat Party. This started with the Daughters of the Confederacy who tried to rewrite the Civil War and what the Civil War was about. There's still people in the South that like, it was about free labor and paid labor. That's a very wonderful way to say slavery. So this is what liberals do. They tried to rewrite Japanese internment camps. They tried to rewrite Jim Crow laws. They tried to rewrite eugenics, the Native American wipeout, the Great Society, Manifest Destiny, civil rights, the modern day slave plantations. This is what Democrats do. They try to rewrite everything and change it, and this is what they do. So it doesn't surprise me. And tomorrow night, Joe Biden's going to try to rewrite the last 4 years, and I hope Joe Biden takes a dive. I think Donald Trump is geared to sell the vision of America. He should talk about the border. He should talk about abortion and answer it honestly. That I put these Supreme Court justices in line to follow the Constitution, and whether we like that or not, that's just what they did. But I am not seeking an abortion ban because that's the whole point I put those judges into place, is not to make a federal decision on something that the states are disagreeing on. And that is why we have a Constitution. And the 2/3 to propose an amendment is what's needed. And until 2/3 of the states agree, this will not be a federal law. You say that, what's Joe Biden going to say? He needs to do that. We'll see tomorrow. All right, folks. Thanks for watching the Don't Unfriend Me Show. Amy, thank you for being on. It was wonderful to have you tonight, ladies. You did a great job. I think you should hold some people accountable in your gene pool, and start wrangling some women in, because they're not doing too well.
We're just going to start a new gender, the original female.
I think you should. I think there's some people. Anne Hathaway, KJP. And don't forget Bowman, because he's really a chick too. But like I said, Jamaal Bowman is now out. He was primaried, and he is gone. So one member of the squad is down. Anyway, folks,
we need to hold a gender draft one night.
Yeah. You want to do that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
I think that would be freaking hilarious.
I think we should.
That would be great.
Tom says, I have to brag today. After a big scare, no cancer for me. Doc said my lungs are good for another 67 years. Congratulations.
Awesome, Tom.
That's awesome.
Good
Great.
news.
Congratulations. Tomorrow, 7 o'clock, folks, be there. We're going to have to talk. We're going to go through the electorate. We're going to go through the map. We're going to go through some key races. We're going to do a lot. It's going to be a big prep day for me tomorrow. So we'll see you guys tomorrow at 7 o'clock Eastern. We'll be covering the debates until they're over. God bless. Take care of each other. Amy, we love you. We'll see you tomorrow.
Good night, y'all.
You guys. Bye.
Good night, everybody. Bye.
Adjusting transmitter output.
This is the Don't Unfriend Me Show.
Yeah,
with
we can
your
talk about
hosts,
Supreme Court
Matt,
too tomorrow.
Leroy, Amy, Olivia, and
I got
Mike.
you, JD.
Geopolitics, military analysis, and election coverage. Coming to you live on the Spreely.tv network and all major social media channels at The DUM Show. Honest, direct, unfiltered. We can agree, we can disagree. Just don't unfriend me.